So in this video, I am going to show you how to assign an assessment using Performance Matters, which is something some of us have to do this quarter and some of us will have to do in the future for the math progress checks. So what you're going to do is I'm already logged into my MCPS Google account. So like, at least I think I am, right? So up here, yes, I'm logged in as myself. So this actually makes it a little bit easier because when that happens, I get these options up here. And if I click MCPS resources, it'll have an option for Performance Matters Unified, which will also be true for students when they log into their MCPS Google account using their Chromebook. They'll get these options as well, and this is how they'll access the test. So I'm going to go to Performance Matters Unify, and it's going to prompt me to sign in. So over here, like I just have my typical username at mcpsmd.org, and then my password I would use to log into my computer at my desk at school. When students log in, they're just going to use their ID number, so they won't have an at mcpsmd.org, and they'll use their typical password. So I'm going to sign in, and I've actually already done this with one of my classes, so I'll be able to show you what it kind of looks like. So when I'm logged in, so a lot of us have already seen this screen, I'm going to go up here to where it says tests, and I'm going to click OLI Student Admin. So when I'm here, I'm going to click select a test, and I'm going to get a bunch of options for a test. I don't believe you'll be able to see it if it's not active, but for the progress check, I believe the information we were given was that you'll be able to see it the day before. And I can search or I can just click one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this one, 2-year Algebra 2, Unit 5, Topic 1 assessment, because this is the one that I've already done with my students. So when I select it, it will then show me all the students that I have in any of my classes. So right now I can see it's unassigned to 190. It's assigned to 2. I have 1 locked, 4 finished, right? So it's kind of moved around a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move those 2 students to unassigned and move these to in progress. Okay, just kidding. Okay, well, that's fine. You'll be able to see what it looks like. So if I want to assign it to a specific class, so I'm going to filter by class right here, and I can see I have multiple sections of it, but I can see Algebra 2 CD 4th period. So I'm going to click them, and you would go back and you'd redo this process for another class, probably right before you gave the progress check. So here's my students, and I have 16 unassigned students, right? And next to here, it says their status is unassigned. So in order to assign them, I can assign release all 16 unassigned students to OLA. And what happens is that they get moved to assign, and you can kind of see that there's icons for each one. So like the assigned icon is now over here next to all of their names of who I've assigned. It's the same idea, actually. If you see this, there's an icon for locked, and anyone that I have locked is locked. Anyone that is finished has finished. So this is the screen that you see while they're working. You can then take the assigned students and move them to unassigned. I could take the locked students and unlock their test, right? And they actually then become in progress, and I can see that they're in progress. You can also see how many items they've answered over here. So then it will kind of change as they're working. So I can't see their screen, so you might want to add students to GoGuardian because they will be able to open other tabs. So you do have to really monitor so that they're not opening other tabs. I would also suggest that when they're done or when the class period ends and the testing session is over, you would want to lock the test or move them all to submitted, because you don't want them to have access. Like they would be able to then access this at home, I believe. So you would want to stop that from happening. So I wouldn't want anyone to be in progress or just assigned. I would probably want to I would probably say I want to move them either to locked or move them to in progress. As far as what the students see, when they log in, they'll see their test option and they click, I believe it said submit test, and they can then work on it and go to the next screen or the next question. And it will give them like the accessibility features. Like I believe there's a calculator on it. I would assume that there's probably the formula sheet. I'm not 100% sure about that one. And like they get the highlighter tool or the answer eliminator. So they get those accessibility features as they are working through the test. But this is pretty much what you see and what you need to worry about when you're giving the test to your students. I'll make, in the next video, I'm going to show how you grade it and what it looks like when students have submitted.